Food security is increasingly a global concern, and nowhere else more so than in China. With more than 1.3 billion mouths to feed and a shortage of farmland, the authorities here are desperate to ensure that food supplies don't run out. And that's seen them turn their attention to a very Western staple. Susan Tart reports.
Idaho ain't the only one that's got potatoes. There's a new player in town, and it means business. Serious business. But don't think that this means you'll be getting double the fries with that burger. This potato king lives in the land of rice.
For most of the people, they still think potato is a foreign food. But actually, we eat a lot of potatoes.
That's Xie Kai-yun, one of Beijing's leading potato scientists. He's part of the government's initiative to increase the country's potato production. China's population is expected to reach 1.5 billion people by the year 2030. That means it'll need another 100 million tons of food to feed the growing population. China is so concerned about food security, it has been buying up farmland around the world, from Southeast Asia to Africa. And at home, with wheat and maize production nearing capacity, the authorities are hungrily eyeing the humble potato. They are easier to grow than grains, and they yield 2 to 4 times more calories. Researchers like Xie are hoping to create new breeds of potatoes that fit China's land and climate. With 1/5 of the world's mouths to feed and rising global food insecurity, China is hoping that the humble spud is the dish that keeps dinner on the table.
In China, we produce about 20% of the total potato in the world.
That makes China the world's largest potato producer. It's also the world's largest potato consumer. While that's mainly because China has more people than any other country, the average Chinese person still eats 90 pounds of potatoes each year. That's 90 pounds of potatoes as pizza toppings, potatoes soaked in spicy vinegar, and potatoes cooked up in every way imaginable.
There are many ways to cook potatoes. Everyone likes to eat them. You can fry them, boil them. Potatoes are good all ways you cook them.
With so much culinary potential, this man says it's a good time to be in the potato business.
This year's potatoes are really rich in starch and taste better than other vegetables. I can sell about 2,000 to 5,000 pounds of potatoes each week.
And China's love for the spud is gaining popularity. Just last month, Pepsi, the owner of Lay's chips, announced it plans to add 5 more company-owned potato farms in China within the next 3 years. But the potato plan isn't without problems. There is a shortage of good, disease-free strains of spud in China. The output per acre is about 70% less than what it is in developed countries. To fix this, the government is pouring more cash into potato science. Xie says the center has cultivated about 160 new spud varieties, which have increased rural farmers' income. They've been so successful that Guizhou province invested nearly $15 million to develop its potato industry last year. It's a good thing, too. The region is suffering from perhaps the worst drought in a century. While the spud hasn't completely escaped, it is highly drought-resistant and has fared better than other crops. This is good news for farmers.
All you gotta do is cut it into pieces with the eyes and then put it in the ground.
It only takes about 60 days after planting till we harvest it. Potatoes grow faster than other vegetables.
Low maintenance and quick turnaround make the spud an easy crop to cultivate. But that's not to say it's going to replace Asia's most beloved staple anytime soon.
Now, maybe some people eat 100% of the rice as a staple food, but in some day, maybe they can eat maybe 30 to 50% of the potato as the staple food.
In fact, one reason the potato is liked by Chinese scientists is that it helps replenish rice fields in between harvests. And if most Chinese are like this lady, the world could see a new pair emerging.
Fried potato slices go very well with rice. It's a delicious combo.
A bit carb-heavy, maybe, but perhaps that's the magic recipe for obtaining food security and decreasing poverty at the same time. Susan Tart, BON.
Well, Tom, no one's expecting the potato to replace rice here in China, but even a change of 30 to 50% in the Chinese diet would be quite drastic.
It'd be a big deal, wouldn't it? And I've got some interesting spud stats for you, Hannah. China's also the largest sweet potato producer in the world. That's according to our research. It produces even more sweet potatoes than it does regular potatoes. 104 million sweet potatoes a year. That compares to 75 million potatoes a year. So interesting stuff there as well.